All right, hello everyone. Welcome to the Kubernetes 1.24 release team meeting. This is April 4th, 2022. Please be aware that this meeting is governed by the Kubernetes Code of Conduct, which can be boiled down to please be excellent to one another. And if you haven't, please take a moment to add your name to the list of attendees. And we will get started. So first thing up on the agenda today is some updates on the Go 1.18 release and issues that arose from that. So I will pass over to Dims for an update there.
Hi, can you all hear me fine?
Yep.
Okay, so we currently, in our milestone, there are two release blockers. One of them, we have a PR which is going to merge soon, hopefully by this evening or tomorrow morning, because it was waiting for another PR to merge first. So this is a change in client Go when we are retrying certain operations. Madhav can give a little bit more context on that. So the second one is the one that we are worried about right now. We have a temporary workaround for our CI jobs, which involves creating an environment variable for ignoring some of the SHA-1 based certificate stuff, because in 1.18 they deprecated it and they are trying to get rid of it. But there are some conditions where we'll end up breaking the folks that have Kubernetes clusters in the wild, and they won't be able to update to it. So the Golang team is going to fix it. We don't know exactly when. There is a 1.18.1 which is scheduled for the 7th, but that seems to be something that has a higher priority security related fix and not the one that we are looking for. So I left some notes in the release blocker the issue, laying out the steps that we need to go through to get to the point where we can make a release out. Madhav, do you want to add some context and then I can wrap up?
Sure, thanks, Dim. So you covered most of it. Just one point to add is, as Dim said, the patch release that is coming out on the 7th, that is Go 1.18.1, it does seem like it's for a severe security issue that someone reported to them. But just in case the Go team plans to include the fix that we are also waiting on in this patch release, then we should be good to go post that. But provided that it's not included in 1.18.1, we would have to wait for Go 1.18.2 to be able to pull that change in. The workaround right now that we've employed just works for our CI and will not work for folks running clusters in production as of today. And as Jordan also summarized on the thread that is linked in the SIG release channel, we can't ship with Go 1.17 because that will be out of support by 1.24 EOL, and we can't ship with 1.18 because that would break existing clusters. Provided the assumption that folks don't use SHA-1 can't really be made. So that's where we're at right now. Thanks.
Yeah, so 117 is going back to 117 is like totally out of question given the number of things that we have landed across multiple repositories to get to this point. So that is definitely not on the table. So the best case scenario is 1.18.1, when it gets out on the 7th, we cut our RC 0 and not try to rush it before that, because it's better not to do an RC0 with 2 release blockers. One seems like okay, just because it'll give some folks something to try in their environments and give us some feedback. We already got a few good feedbacks from different people in the last 3-4 days, and based on that, we already landed PRs. For example, one was around We had promoted a feature to beta, and we actually rolled it back as of this morning. So we are getting feedback. So it will be good to get an RC0 out, but when 1.18.1 is shipped, that's our recommendation from the discussion that we had, and then wait for 1.18.2. We will, Jordan and others will try to contact the Golang team behind the scenes to see if anything can be done to speed things up. The reviews on this change is very slow because I'm sure they are distracted by something more serious. Given the previous experiences, when there is something really big like that, they won't try to like merge in smaller changes. They will do it as a standalone, just with that big problem. So I don't expect, hopeful, but I don't expect a 1.18.1 to have the change we need. So the other good news is both Madhav and Jordan have tested a custom build of Golang with the fix in master Golang, and we are certain that it fixes our problems. So we got to wait for that change to land in master, in Golang master, then get picked by a bot as a backport to Golang 1.18 release branch, and then 1.18.2 has to be cut, and then we can ship. Any
Okay.
questions, anyone?
Yeah. So, well, first of all, thank you very much for coming to this meeting to give an update on short notice. It's very much appreciated. So, just to kind of reiterate and make sure that I kind of understand the implications on our timescale, in that if the patch, the fix that we need is in Go 1.18.1, and that is released this Thursday, then the only impact on us is that we'll change our RC0 from being cut tomorrow on Tuesday to being cut on Thursday when Go comes out. And chances are, in that circumstance, the release itself will not be delayed. However, if it's not in there and we have to wait till Go 1.18.2, we will have to further delay our RC releases, both of them, until after that comes out, which, depending on how long that takes, could delay the release by days, weeks.
We can cut an RC0 with one release blocker left.
Okay.
That will give people something to try. So I don't want to like hold up RC0
Sure.
Indefinitely, which seems to be the case with the the change that we are talking about right now.
Okay. All right.
And if
So I guess
understood right, sorry, the Go 1.18.1 at this point, you think it's unlikely to contain that fix?
Yes, given the track record of the Golang team, when they release, when they have a severe bug, they rev up the .z with just the limited change that fixes the big bug that they are talking about.
okay. All right. Well, it sounds like, for our perspective, we'll keep an eye on it, and ultimately, if we can't release without it, so yeah, that seems pretty clear. Okay. I have no further questions unless anyone else does.
So I think we'll need to adjust the dates, at least RC0 date, send the comms out for RC0 saying it'll be not tomorrow, but on Thursday. And then saying that RC1 will be when we get a Golang 1.82 with the specific fix.
Sure.
Sounds good. Well, thank you for sharing all the info you've got. Appreciate it. I think we will, unless anyone has any further questions, move on to enhancements updates. Yeah, Grace, how are things going?
Yeah, things are looking great. Our status is screen. We have 47 tracked, and this is with 2 exceptions reintroduced into the release. We are monitoring 1 more and then 2 that are kind of bugs and not so much enhancement.
Sounds good. Do we have any questions for Grace? Right, if not, let's move on to CI signal. Looks like we may have a red here.
Hi, everybody. So our current status is red. We see no failings in master blocking and 7 flaky issues. A few new ones today have been discovered. We are looking at some others. We are checking if we can find more flaky patterns, and then we will report them as well. We have opened, I think this was on Friday, a new issue on mass informing, and 6 flakes right now. But as you just heard, they're the release blockers. So this is the reason why we are giving a red status, but it sounds like there's already a plan. So should be, yeah, we should keep an eye on those.
All right, thank you. Do we have any questions for CI signal? All right, well, let us move on to bug triage then.
Yeah, hello everyone. So our current status is red. This is because we have 2 blocking issues that we already talked about. And we have another 2 critical urgent PRs. And I feel like, like due to the time we are in the current release right now, I was, wait between red and yellow. So I went with red because of these 2 criticals and 2 blocking issues.
Sounds good, thank you. Any questions for the bug triage folks? All right, let's move on to docs then. We have Meha from docs.
Yes, I am here. So hello everyone. The current status of our team is yellow. We are currently tracking 47 KBs, and yes, we are focusing on the next deadline, that is docs need to be ready for review status. So yes, we are currently having 9 draft PRs, of which we are looking to move on ready for reviews. We have pinged the authors PR by specifying the deadlines to let them know to finish it as soon as possible. So yes, thank you.
Sounds good. If anyone on the docs team, if you need help reaching out to anyone to try and hit those deadlines, feel free to reach out to us. Any questions for the docs team?
Got a question from the docs team. Sorry, I didn't sneak it in for the enhancements part. Grace, do we know if 2086 is, I know it's just been brought back in for the enhancements. Do we know if it needs docs yet, or is that something you'd like me to track down?
Yeah, I asked them in the issue and tagged you, but I haven't had a reply yet.
Okay, no, that's fine then. If they've been asked, that's for these late enhancements. I'm presuming they have all the same deadlines, do they, or do they get shifted?
Same deadline. So they just need to get their stuff in for enhancement, and everything else after is the same.
Yeah, okay, good to know. Thank you.
All right, let's move on to comms.
Do we do release notes as well?
Yeah.
Oh, did I? Yes, yes, release notes. Let's do release notes first, and then we'll do comms.
Hey, our status is yellow, and we have an impending merge of the updated draft PR. And then beta's next. The major themes discussion is still going on. And if anyone has any feedback on that, it would be much appreciated. I'll find a link.
Awesome. Any questions for release notes?
I think we should probably coordinate on the release themes as well, so I can chime in there too.
Okay.
Cool. Yeah, you can go ahead with your update too, Mickey.
Okay, so we had a little bit of a delay in the release blogs, and I think I brought this up last week, but this is more of something that's actually going to change in our milestones process. In retrospect, it makes sense to delay the release blog until after all of the enhancements have either come through during the change freeze or not. We did have to remove a couple of topics that didn't end up making it to the change freeze date, and also got some feedback from reviewers a little bit late in the game. The hope is to get the release blog out, or excuse me, the removals blog out midweek this week. But a lot of that's predicated on people actually responding to GitHub comments, which is a bit of a mixed bag. We also did start the blog, the draft of the release blog. So that content is going to get finalized over the next couple of weeks. And then we're also coordinating time with the CNCF PR folks on the release webinar as well.
Awesome. Sounds good. Do we have any questions for Mickey or the comms team?
Yeah, with the change for the deadline, I'm generally a +1 on that. Sounds like a great idea. Can you shove it in the retro though, just so we can talk about it quickly there?
Absolutely.
Just to see if anything comes up out of it.
Yeah, definitely.
Cool,
Is there a doc I should be updating for that?
There is a doc. I will dig out the link.
Okay, thank you. And then James, I think we need to figure out what time is good for the CNCF PR folks. I think there's a Calendly link.
Yes, there's a Calendly link that I need to fill out, and I haven't done because I'm bad, but I will get on that.
No, I did the same thing. I'm happy to join anytime that works for you. And I think Grace, we need your input on that as well.
Yeah.
Is this for like the web stream?
Yeah, I think this
Yeah.
is for the release webinar.
It's
Okay,
for the
so
release.
good.
Sorry, Grace, go on.
Yeah, no, just let me know what time and date.
Okay.
Sure.
Sounds good. Okay, well, yeah, we can take that offline.
Sounds good. It looks like the release branch management update is similar to what Dim shared earlier, but Nabarun, is there anything else you would like to add?
Yeah, I think as we were discussing in that thread, we would need to at least wait for a day after the Go patch release happens, because we would need to update the images in our infrastructure and then roll out accordingly. So I think the sane option is to now move it to 8th April, which is this Friday. Also impending on the status of a Go 1.18. And then we can take up deciding on RC1 and the stable release next week. So yeah, I'll probably work on a forms piece and share with everyone on Slack. And
I was going to say, what do you think is the most appropriate comms? Do we think an email, just a KDev and the rest of the community is the most appropriate way of advertising?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
In the past, we have done using that. We send an email to KDev addressing the community that it's not coming out tomorrow, and people should not expect it. And this is the reason why this is not coming out.
Sure. Can you also send a PR to update the schedule with a new date?
Yeah, sure.
Cool, thank you.
All right, and I don't see Joseph on the call, so James, I'll pass to you, and then if there's any EA updates that you have to share that you know from Joseph or what have you, feel free.
Sure. So I don't have any particular updates from Joseph I've been made aware of. For me, just a couple of updates. As you know, we had some exception requests, 2 accepted, 2 rejected, 2 which we think were invalid because they weren't enhancements. I actually think I need to get back to those, just send an email just to let them know that they've gone through a normal bug triage process. Possible delays notwithstanding, we're near the end. We are, in theory, like a couple of weeks away, which is, terrifying as a prospect. Also, I believe I've just about got a final version of the logo and theme ready, so I'll probably start circulating that around, a little bit once I've got kind of final approval from SIG release leadership. But I don't suppose there's going to be issues there. And then we can start working that into the blog, the release blog and things like this. So yeah, getting there.
Awesome. Sounds good. Well, with that, thank you, everybody. I am going to end the recording.